In the heart of the Wild West, where the sun bore down on parched earth and adventure lay around every corner, there lived a cowboy named Dusty Scout. With a wide-brimmed hat perched atop his head and boots kicking up dust with each stride, Dusty was known far and wide for his bravery and reliability. Tales of his quick thinking spread like wildfire among ranchers and townsfolk alike. Dusty's sharp eyes missed nothing. Whether he was herding cattle or riding into town for supplies, he always kept an ear to the ground for trouble. He held a strong sense of justice, standing up for the weak and making sure peace reigned in the tumultuous lands he called home. His natural leadership drew others to him, trusting him to navigate even the most perilous situations. On one particular day, while patrolling a nearby trail, Dusty's instincts screamed that something wasn't right. Little did he know that this day would challenge the very essence of his courage. With the sun sinking low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the plains, Dusty prepared for whatever might come next, knowing his reputation as a protector would soon be put to the test. The dusty trail stretched ahead like a ribbon of brown earth, winding through the rugged landscape. Tall trees stood proudly on either side, their leaves rustling gently in the evening breeze. As Dusty Scout rode onward, the setting sun painted the sky in brilliant shades of orange, pink, and gold, creating a breathtaking backdrop for his journey. The vibrant colors reflected off the nearby stream, giving a sense of calm amid the tension that hung in the air. The camp lay just beyond a gentle rise, nestled comfortably in a clearing among the towering pines. A flickering fire cracked and popped at its center, sending sparks dancing into the sky. Dusty could almost taste the warmth of dinner cooking and imagined the familiar faces of his fellow cowboys gathered around, laughing and sharing stories as they enjoyed a well-earned meal after a long day. Yet, even with such beauty surrounding him, an unsettling feeling clutched at Dusty's heart. The cool shadows cast by the trees seemed to hold secrets of their own, a reminder that danger often lurked where one least expected it. As he approached the camp, he felt his instincts sharpen, readying him for whatever lay ahead in this quiet but watchful world. As Dusty Scout continued along the trail, a sudden rustling in the underbrush caught his attention. He pulled on the reins of his horse, bringing it to a halt and scanned the area. That's when he saw him, a fellow cowboy lying on the ground, clutching his side. It was Jake, a trusted friend and ranch hand known for his easygoing nature. But now his face was pale and twisted in pain. Dusty's heart raced as he dismounted quickly, rushing to Jake's side. An arrow protruded from his shoulder, blood seeping around it like a dark flower blooming on the ground. "Hang on, partner," Dusty exclaimed, kneeling beside him. Jake's eyes fluttered open, filled with shock and fear as he tried to speak, but could only manage a pained groan. "Dusty, I was ambushed," Jake gasped between breaths. "Comanche. They came out of nowhere." Dusty's stomach knotted at the mention of their name. Time was of the essence. He had to get Jake to safety before they returned. With urgency fueling him, Dusty carefully assessed the wound, knowing that every moment counted as he prepared to haul his friend back toward camp, though danger loomed closer with each heartbeat. Dusty's heart pounded in his chest as he assessed the situation. He knew time was slipping away like sand through his fingers. Without hesitation, he slipped an arm under Jake's back and the other behind his knees, lifting him gently but swiftly. Jake winced in pain, but Dusty murmured words of encouragement, trying to soothe his friend. "We're getting you out of here, partner. Just hang on tight." With a determined grunt, Dusty managed to lift Jake onto his horse's back, securing him with the reins to keep him steady. Dusty quickly mounted behind him, wrapping one arm around Jake to hold him firmly in place while using his other hand to guide the horse. The horse shuffled nervously, sensing the tension in the air, but Dusty's calm demeanor steadied both it and Jake. "Let's go, boy," he urged the horse, kicking it into a gallop down the trail toward camp. The warm hues of sunset faded behind them as they sped away from danger. Dusty's mind raced just as fast as the hooves pounding against the ground. He had to stay alert for any signs of Comanche chasing them. His focus sharpened as he prayed they could reach safety before it was too late. As Dusty and Jake neared the camp, An unsettling feeling gnawed at Dusty's gut. The vibrant colors of the sunset faded, swallowed by the encroaching shadows of the trees lining the trail. He strained his ears, trying to tune out the sound of their galloping horse, but strange rustles from the underbrush sent chills down his spine. He felt a shift in the air, as if the very forest held its breath, waiting. Dusty's eyes darted toward the darkening woods, where he thought he saw fleeting shadows flit between the trunks. He tightened his grip around Jake to reassure him, but unease crept through him like a cold breeze. What if there were more ambushers lurking, watching their every move? Just ahead, he spotted the campfire flickering weakly in the dim light, but it seemed far too quiet for comfort. Where were the other cowboys? Dusty's instincts screamed that they needed to be cautious. Something felt wrong. As they approached, he steered his horse away from the direct path towards a thicket on the side, hoping to avoid drawing attention until he could assess the situation further. With each passing moment, tension mounted, amplifying his resolve to protect Jake and uncover the truth hidden in those shadows. As Dusty carefully navigated the thicket, his heart raced with apprehension. Suddenly, flickering lights caught his eye. He squinted into the darkness ahead, and his breath hitched in his throat as he recognized the unmistakable glow of torches. Comanche torches surrounding the campfire. The flames danced wildly, casting eerie shadows that flickered across the ground like restless spirits. Dusty's mind raced as he took in the scene. Not far from where they were hiding, a group of Comanche warriors stood near the fire, their figures outlined against the bright flames. They spoke in low, urgent tones, their faces grim and focused. Dusty's stomach churned at the sight. He realized that they were likely planning their next move after ambushing Jake. He tightened his grip around Jake's waist to keep him steady and whispered urgently, "We've got to stay quiet, Jake." Dusty's instincts kicked into high gear. They had to find a way out without drawing attention. With every ounce of determination, he urged his horse backward slowly, careful not to make a sound. Danger was closer than ever, and he knew they had to act fast if they wanted to escape unseen. Dusty's heart raced as he considered the dilemma before him. On one hand, the camp was a place of safety, filled with friends who could help Jake. But on the other hand, entering the camp meant risking exposure to the Comanche warriors, who were likely on high alert after their ambush. He felt a heavy weight in his chest, torn between his loyalty to his injured friend and the necessity of caution. Jake was vulnerable, barely clinging to consciousness, and Dusty couldn't shake the image of him lying helplessly on the ground. If they went back to camp, would they be leading danger straight to their fellow cowboys? The thought gnawed at him. He envisioned the laughter and camaraderie that usually filled the air at camp, now replaced by an ominous silence. Dusty's instincts kicked in again. He knew that if he acted recklessly, he could put everyone in jeopardy. Yet, leaving Jake behind felt like abandoning him to his fate. As the flickering torches illuminated the warriors' tense expressions, Dusty's mind raced for a solution. He needed a plan, one that would allow him to protect Jake while also keeping them both hidden from the lurking danger nearby. The stakes were higher than ever, and every second counted. Dusty's mind raced back to encounters he had with the Comanche in the past. While he had often heard tales of their fierce nature, he remembered a few moments where peace had prevailed. He recalled a time when he had successfully traded supplies with a group of Comanche hunters, exchanging warm greetings and laughter despite the cultural differences. Those memories sparked a flicker of hope within him. He knew that not all Comanche were hostile and that some sought peace just as much as he did. Dusty considered how to approach the situation, weighing the importance of communication against the risk of making a wrong move. Would they understand his intentions if he tried to approach them with no weapons drawn? Could he convince them that helping Jake would be more beneficial than aggression? As he contemplated his options, Dusty reminded himself that he had to be clever, not just brave. Ambushing them back could lead to chaos and danger for Jake. Instead, if he positioned himself and Jake carefully, maybe he could find a way to communicate without escalating tensions. With renewed determination, Dusty began to form a plan in his mind, hoping to bridge the gap between conflict and understanding while ensuring Jake's safety. Dusty took a deep breath, steeling himself as he whispered to Jake, "Stay quiet. I'm going to see what I can find out." With careful movements, he slid off the horse and crouched low behind the thick brush, letting the shadows cloak him. The flickering torches illuminated a small clearing ahead where the Comanche warriors gathered, their faces tense and intent on their discussion. Slowly and silently, Dusty moved through the underbrush, blending into the surrounding night. He kept his body low to the ground and listened intently, every sound amplified in the stillness. The crackling of the fire and murmurs of voices guided him, informing him of their actions. Peeking through a thicket, he could see the warriors gesturing animatedly and pointing towards something on the ground, perhaps Jake's discarded gear. Dusty's heart raced as he realized they were preparing to search for signs of anyone else near the camp. He needed to act fast. Dusty carefully shifted position, inching closer while keeping a watchful eye on their movements. He planned to gather any information he could that would help him forge a safe path for both himself and Jake. All the while, he reminded himself that navigating this perilous situation required not only courage but cleverness as well. As Dusty crouched low, his heart pounded with urgency. Just a few feet away, the Comanche warriors sharpened their arrows and spoke in hushed, intense voices. Straining to hear, Dusty caught snippets of their conversation, words that echoed ominously in his mind. "They think they are safe," one warrior said, his tone laced with confidence. "Soon we will strike when they least expect it." Another chimed in, detailing a plan for a surprise attack during the night when the camp would be unguarded, their laughter mingling with the crackling firelight. Dusty's pulse quickened as he realized the true scope of the danger. The camp was not just at risk, it was moments away from being overwhelmed. He could almost visualize the chaos that would erupt if the Comanche launched their attack, catching his fellow cowboys off guard. With every word exchanged among the warriors, Dusty felt a heavy weight of responsibility press upon him. Jake's life hung in the balance, along with that of their friends at camp. This moment demanded more than bravery. It required quick thinking and immediate action to thwart the impending danger. Dusty knew he had to find a way to warn his comrades and prevent a disaster before it was too late. Dusty's mind raced as he formulated a plan. He knew he had to act quickly to warn his fellow cowboys without compromising Jake's safety. The flickering torches illuminated the Comanche warriors nearby, and he realized that every movement had to be deliberate and quiet. He quietly positioned himself closer to Jake, ensuring he felt secure on the horse before implementing his strategy. First, Dusty decided that he would create a distraction to draw attention away from the camp. He recalled the small pile of dry leaves and twigs he had seen earlier. If he could set that ablaze, the smoke would create confusion, drawing some warriors away from their fire while allowing him time to slip into camp and warn the others. With that in mind, Dusty carefully maneuvered through the shadows toward the pile of debris, always keeping an eye on the warriors. Each step felt critical. He had to remain undetected. As he gathered the dry materials, thoughts of his fellow cowboys spurred him forward. They needed to know of the imminent attack. Dusty's resolve strengthened. He would protect Jake and ensure that no one else would fall victim to the Comanche's surprise attack. With focused determination, he prepared to execute his bold plan. With his plan set, Dusty struck a match against a rock and watched as the flame flickered to life, eagerly igniting the dry leaves. The fire crackled and sent up a plume of smoke that danced into the night sky, drawing immediate attention from the nearby Comanche warriors. Dusty took a deep breath, knowing this was his moment. He motioned to Jake to hold on tight and began to call out loudly, "Hey, over here!" as he dashed away from their hiding place toward the camp. The Comanche warriors turned in alarm, their focus shifting away from their original target. Old instincts kicking in as they sensed new danger. Dusty burst through the underbrush with urgency, his heart racing, shouting warnings as he approached his fellow cowboys' campfire. "Get ready! They're coming for us!" His voice rang with authority, igniting a sense of urgency among his friends. The cowboys scrambled for their weapons just as Dusty turned back to glance at the approaching Comanche shadows behind him. The fire he had started crackled fiercely now, drawing some of the warriors away to investigate. Dusty's quick thinking had bought them precious moments. Rallying his group with confidence, he prepared for an imminent fight, knowing that together they could face whatever came their way and protect Jake and each other from impending danger.